Yeah, I'm finally back, I think. It's been almost 2 weeks since the last update um, from the hospital. God damn, time's flying by again, huh? Yeah, so haven't put an update out in a while, mostly because I'm still kind of under the weather. Still recovering. But in the interest of getting caught up, I figured I'd at least do a little something here this morning or tonight, whatever it is right now. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning. So yeah, so what happened? What was it, back on the 10th? No, sorry, the 11th. I went out, went to a party a friend was hosting out in the Twin Cities, and well, the weather it turned pretty shitty, while I was out there. And I learned the hard way that they just don't give a shit about snow plowing. Um, what should have been a 90-minute drive home wound up taking me about 3 hours. And yeah, I wound up um, getting about 3 miles from home, maybe 4 miles from home, and all of a sudden, I'm being tailgated by this truck, and it pressured me. I was trying to stay in the tracks left behind by the other vehicles that had driven by. Well, this truck was tailgating me. I got pressured and lost control. Wound up sliding across the median, landed in the ditch sideways. Fortunately, one of the local police did stop by and was somehow able to get me pushed out of the ditch. And after a whole lot of driving around to try to find a, a viable way home, because I was facing the wrong way on the local highway, and the hill I usually take to go home was impassable. So anyway, all said and done, it was about 3 hours, basically double the time that would normally take me to get home. Um, so that was a story of my um, Saturday, January 11th. The 12th, that was that Sunday night. I had to go back to work, because Sunday is always a work day for me. Um, I get to work and I'm feeling all right, and until about maybe 4 hours into my shift, I start realizing that I'm not feeling all that great, but I'm still feeling well enough that I just figure I'll just power through it. Because I get sick from time to time, but it's never anything that really takes me down. Of course, that's about by about the fifth or sixth hour of the shift. I'm realizing that I'm in a really bad state. Still thinking I'll just try to soldier through it. Try to make it to the end of the shift, go home and rest. But by the eighth hour of my shift, I just realized that there is no way I could finish it out. Wound up leaving work early. Only the second time I've ever done that in my 4.5 years working there. But I get home, check my temperature. I'm running a slight fever, probably about 100, 100.3, 100.5. So not horrible, but a little concerning anyway. So Go to sleep for a little while, wake up, check my temperature again. I think it was in the 101 range at that point. Wound up leaving a message for my supervisor at work that, yeah, it's not looking good. I'm not expecting to be making it in tonight. He showed him a picture of the thermometer at its current reading. Just let him know that I wasn't coming in that night. Went back to sleep. Woke up late afternoon and actually was feeling pretty good for a little while there. I checked my temperature. It was still right around 102. So I didn't really know what was going on there, but for a little bit, I was doused in sweat, but otherwise feeling okay. I was sleep off and on throughout the rest of the day into the evening. But during the overnight hours, things took a turn. Um, I woke up. It was probably around maybe 2 or 3 in the morning, and checked my temperature again, and I was up to 104. And unfortunately, I can barely sit up at that point. So I drop off a text from my neighbor. She's fantastic. She's really good person. Um, so I drop her a text about maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I just ask her if she'd be available to run me into urgent care or the like come morning. She texted back probably about 6:30 or so. I was asleep, and then she started calling me about 45 minutes later. I finally woke up, finally got to answer the call and explain what was going on. I'm still barely able to sit up, let alone stand and walk. But uh, long story short, she takes me up to the nearest urgent care, and they start check my vitals. Um, my pulse was about 130. My blood pressure was about like 85 over 50. Temperature was about 103.5. Um, so they start running tests on me. They do a CT scan. They did a chest X-ray. Did a whole fuck ton of blood work, and yeah, I wound up testing positive for influenza A, and they also found I have pneumonia. Um, so based on that, they decide with everything else, they decided to admit me to the hospital that the urgent care was attached to, and they originally were just going to keep me overnight for one night and make a discharge evaluation the next morning. And that was the night where I uploaded my previous update. But I woke up the next morning. I was feeling pretty good at first. When I woke up, I was thinking, okay, I'm on the mend here, and I'll just tell them I'm good to go home, and open up the bed and everything. Just let them have the room back. Well, the doctor, he asked me if I agree with his assessment that I should just stay another day. And at first, I told him that no, I think I'd be better off to just go home. Um, yeah, he was pretty disappointed with me in saying that. But about an hour or so later, he checks on me again, and I told him that yeah, I'm really not doing so hot here. So decision was made to keep me a second day, and all throughout, my levels were still just way out of range, and they whatever what every, no matter what they tried, they just could not keep my fever down. They get down to around 99, and then about 2 to 3 hours later, it's back to 102, and it was just this whole back and forth all day long and into the night, where they just could not keep my fever in check. So apparently the nurses even popped in a few times throughout the day and throughout the evening, and I guess I was too out of it to even realize that they were there. They wanted to check my vitals and everything, but they couldn't because of because I was fast asleep. But yeah, it was the I went in on Tuesday morning. It was late morning, Thursday morning before I actually got discharged, and even then I still wasn't feeling great. Um, but I wound up getting a script for Tamiflu, a few days supply on that. It was $13 after my insurance kicked in, so pretty pricey for 7 pills. But yeah, I got the script picked up. Um, had my brother um, was fortunate enough that he was available, and he did the chauffeuring for me that day. Brought me to the pharmacy, brought me home, dropped me off, and I think I think I fed the cat, and then I just came up here and passed out for the next like 8 hours or so. Woke up, and ever since then I just had this sore muscle in my neck I just cannot get rid of. And that's been what, like 9 days since that happened. Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. Um, so yeah, with all that time off I took at the hospital, I'm essentially out of sick time at work for the year. So way to go, sick time policy. Actually, I still have one. I still have 1 day left, but it's not going to last. Um, so yeah, that was the week of the 12th through the what was it, 19th, 18th, whatever. Not a great week. I was hoping to get my car checked out during that week because when you go sliding into a ditch sideways at 30 miles an hour, you're probably gonna have some issues, right? So, but I wound up going to work on Saturday. Sunday night it got really bitter cold again. I still wasn't feeling great, but what could I do? I still had to go to work because I had no time left. But yeah, Monday morning, I'm going to leave from work. I had let the car warm up and everything. I'm about to leave the parking lot and look at the windshield, and yeah, now there's this nice big fucking crack that runs from about the steering wheel all the way down to the other side at the passenger side windshield wiper. So yeah, we're looking good there. I've got a cracked windshield that needs to be addressed at some point, and we'll just throw that on top of everything else. I still have to get the car looked at for because Wednesday I went driving and realized that yeah, there's an issue with the alignment. It's driving a little shaky at highway speeds now. So some things, so there's a need of adjustment there. So that's gonna be a couple $100 to get that diagnosed and repaired, whatever. And there's also the wear and tear on the tires from getting the car out. Definitely took a lot of miles off those tires because I could just smell the rubber burning off as we were trying to rock it out of there. Let's see what else. Yeah, so that was, it was Wednesday. I had electrolysis that day. Mom had been in the hospital with complications related to her gallbladder for about 2 weeks or so by that point. I guess she made it back home on Thursday. I still haven't been back to see her yet because between Thursday I had two doctor's appointments as a follow up from the hospital stay. Nothing real noteworthy there, just that I had to structure my entire day around them. And then there was Friday. I had to make 2 trips down to the nearby city where we have where I have my vet because Trish, she was scheduled for a sedated grooming because she gets so matted up back around her ass and doesn't clean herself properly and doesn't like other people getting near it. So if I would try to go in there with scissors or a clipper or anything, she turns violent. So had to drag her off to the vet, and they used anesthesia to put her under. They shaved her back there and along the majority of her body to get the mats out and everything. She looks so much smaller now overall. I mean, they left the fur around her neck and head and her her paws, those areas have been left alone. But just seeing the lack of all that floof around her body itself, she just looks so much tinier now. I mean, yeah, she's still a chunky kitty, but it doesn't look so bad now. But, but yeah, she's still like 14 and a half pounds, or maybe it's 15 pounds. But anyway, she's still got a lot of weight to lose. But yeah, had to drop her off. It was like 7:30 in the morning for that, for it to drop off, and then I had to kill time. And came home. It's just so weird not having the cat here when I came home. I mean, that was the first time in 5.5 years that she has not been here when I've come home. So the house felt really empty, really, I just felt lifeless. And had to go back to pick her up around, they said it was like 2:10, 2:15 pickup time. So went down there, picked her up, and she seems to have bounced back very quickly on that. She might have had some balance issues at first, but she got over that pretty quickly. Regained her appetite. But she's been a lot more affectionate and cuddly ever since she came home. I mean, she's always been affectionate, very, very, very cuddly, but this is like taking that and turning up to 11. It's just so much more than normal. And it's endearing, but also a little bit a little bit irritating at the same time. But what can you do? But yeah, that was 200 some odd dollars for that charge. I don't even want to know what the hospital bill is going to be. I mean, fortunately, there are out-of-pocket maximums on my insurance policy, so that'll help a lot. I don't know how much is going to be considered in network and covered, but I'm sure the majority of it will be. Still, between that, between the hospital, the vet, my upcoming car repair charge, whatever that's going to be, the property tax bill that I finally got sent out the other day. I'm just hemorrhaging money right now, and it's not going to get any better for a while. And then just to add to the fun, I'm sitting downstairs in the living room this afternoon, and all of a sudden I just start hearing this tap. 23 seconds later, I hear another tap. It just kept going like that for several minutes, and I'm just like, okay, what? Because the baseboard heaters, they make kind of a tapping noise when they're heating up and cooling down. That's normal. But this was just going on for entirely too long. So I go out to the general area where I hear it, and I find out that the tapping sound is coming from the half bath downstairs. And I don't know where the hell it's coming from, but I was leaking water that was coming out through the bathroom door frame, like from the top of the door frame. It's just dropping down from there onto the floor. No idea where it's coming from exactly. I don't know if it's the roof or if it's something to do with the exhaust fans in the bathrooms, like if they're serving as a pathway or something. But yeah, when all was said and done, it probably leaked maybe a quarter to a half a cup of water. Just it lasted for probably 45 minutes or so before it stopped. But still, it's like, okay, what's happening here? Where is it coming from? I have no idea. I don't even know who I need to ask as far as checking it out, getting it looked at, because I'm an owner in an HOA where the association owns the exterior of the building, but I'm responsible for what happens inside the studs. So the question is this water, is it the result of like melting from the roof, coming down, seeping through, and just finding a pathway all the way down? Or is it something within my attic, in which case that would be my issue. So I did wind up calling a couple members of the association board just to see what their thoughts were. The guy I talked to said he was going to get a hold of the roofing guy that we have, but it might be Monday before he actually responds. So we'll see what happens. It hasn't done it since this afternoon, but who's to say that's not going to start up again? So I'm like, well, shit, this could get very pricey, and with as much as my finances have taken a beating since the year began, can I afford it? And of course, there is the issue of our politics and the absolute, bane of my existence right now is the current occupant of the White House. Everything that he touches, everything that he does is an absolute fucking disaster. And, the directives that he's giving, the orders that he is signing, none of it is good for a person like me. I am, to put it bluntly, I am terrified. Because right now, I don't know if my passport is going to be valid in a month, in 2 months from now. I don't know if I'm going to lose access to my medications, if I'm going to have any of the rights that I currently have as a trans individual, because all these executive orders are just being thrown out like fucking Molotov cocktails, you know, with reckless abandon. It's just, he's throwing everything out and just seeing how much damage he can do to to marginalized communities all over the country. And of course, Republicans they love this shit because, well, they worship the Orange Menace. I mean, it's to the point right now where, yes, I am still very much considering, taking a suicide option later on this year because I I can't fight. I cannot fight this for for 4 fucking years to watch as all my rights are taken away and to be forced back into a life that nearly killed me before. I can't do that a second time. I really can't. I mean, 4 years ago, I was you know, I was suffering from my gender dysphoria so badly that my persona split in two. I've talked about this before, but I basically became two different people vying for control of the same body. And it was only after I started HRT that I was able to reconcile the two back into a single person. And the damage that this whole dual persona thing was doing, it nearly killed me. It for sure was on the brink of getting me kidnapped. And to say, and who's to say if I would have survived that, or if I would have been dumped in a ditch somewhere, or if I'd still be a missing person. It's hard to say, but by the time I started my HRT, my mental health had decayed to the point that I was I was so desperate for validation in everything that I was promising myself to very sketchy individuals and offering to just let them do whatever they wanted, in exchange for being able to live, in the capacity that I wanted to for so long. It was a pretty shitty deal, but it was really all that I had at that point, prior to starting HRT, because I figured that there was no way I was ever going to get it. But yeah, I started HRT, and my mental health improved substantially within the first few weeks alone. And I spent 3 years, 3.5 years almost, a much happier person because I've had the effects of HRT on my body, on my mind, and I've just been a much more well-adjusted person because of that. But now I'm at risk of losing all of that. My IDs that I updated, 2 years ago. That whole thing. Who knows if I'm going to be allowed to retain those changes, or if all that's going to be invalidated, or if I'm just totally fucked. The only thing that I can really take solace in right now is this knowledge that all these executive orders that Mango Magoo is throwing out, most of them are going to be challenged in court, so they're going to be bogged down, in the legal system for months or maybe years, because it's got to work its way through the court from from the circuit courts to the federal to the Supreme Court. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens. And who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky, and and Mango Mussolini will will suffer the same fate that my father did. I'd be okay with that. But God, my voice is just absolute dog shit right now. I'm sorry. I still have a lingering cough going on, and even the doctor on Thursday mentioned that my voice still sounds kind of hoarse. So I know, just try as I might, I still can't get my usual vocal range back. Hoping it's temporary, but it does leave me nervous that what happens if it doesn't change back. I'm just I don't need more attention on me right now than I already get when I talk, because I still want to go stealth. I still want to be able to present myself in the manner that I have been for the past 3.5 years. But who's to say that I'm going to be able to, just because I fucked up with my voice, or the HRT isn't doing what I needed to anymore, or just any number of things. But oh God, I don't know. I'm rambling here, but that's basically been my life for the past 2 weeks. I've been sick. I'm still a little sick right now, but I'm on the mend. Just wish I could get my voice back, because I do miss my more melodic voice, instead of this instead of this lower tone bullshit voice that I've been stuck with for the past week and a half. But anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. Gotta go to work later today, so should probably get some sleep. And I hope that you all have yourselves a great week, despite everything that the Orange Menace is doing. I'm hopeful that that we still have a country over here in a month, in 3 months from now. That life doesn't totally suck ass for the rest of my life. I'm still giving myself a deadline. I'm figuring early mid-September is my do or die moment. So, but we'll see if I can come up with the appropriate medications by then. But in the meantime, I think about it, and it kind of brings a sense of calm to my mind, to my mind, and just kind of gives me hope that despite everything, I still have a way out. But we'll see. In the meantime, I should probably get some real ammo for my gun, and be prepared to either defend myself or or commit one final act of defiance against an oppressive government. I just better get on that soon, before it becomes illegal to buy, for a trans person to buy guns and ammo. But anyway, I'm off to bed. We'll talk to you later.